Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm creating a layout and joining in with Alison's 250 subbies YouTube hop. So as has become tradition with our celebratory hops, we've all chosen a layout of Alison's to scrap lift, and that one on the screen there is the one that I have chosen. I'm going to be using Jen Hadfield's Reaching Out collection mainly for this layout. I do bring in a bit of the Avenue as well. I bought Reaching Out from Paper Maze a while back when it was first released, and I haven't used it yet. This is the first layout I've created with it. I keep picking it up, same with Garden Party. I keep picking them both up and pushing papers around and just deciding they're not right for the particular project I'm working on. And they keep getting put back away, so I've challenged myself to actually go with it and use Reaching Out for this layout. But I struggled with embellishments. There wasn't really anything in this collection that was screaming out to be used on this layout, so I did go into my Reaching Out stash and just picked a couple of bits from there to bring in as well. But they're both by the same designer, so they kind of work together really well. So just like Alison's layout, I've cut out some squares from the patterned papers. I've gone with tones of blue and green because they are mainly the colours in my photo. So I've picked 4 papers and I've cut out 4 squares. I think they were 4 by 4 inches. There might be 3.5 by 3.5, can't remember now. I think I might have made them slightly smaller. And I've just gone round with a paper piercing. No, I haven't. I've used an edge distresser. Hard job distressing edges with a paper piercing tool. I've used my edge distresser to distress all the edges there because I do like to have lots of distressed edges on my layouts. And my photo, I've mounted it onto white cardstock and I'm just going to add a couple of paper layers behind it. So I've got this green leafy pattern paper here that I've already used for one of the squares, and then I think I mat it a second time on a different paper that I haven't used yet, but it kind of matches our skin tone in the photo, so I thought that worked quite well, and it will also then allow me to try and bring in a couple of embellishments with this colour in as well. I take quite a bit of time here deciding how I want to rearrange these squares. The problem being I've got 3 blue and only 1 green, but the only other green I had, which is this paper here, I just felt wasn't right for this layout. So I'm going to go with it because my photo's got a lot of green, so it kind of acts as a second green square. So I just need to try and figure out where I want them positioned, in sort of what order, to try and balance that green out. And then I can't decide if I want my squares all slanted or whether I want them sort of straight and perfectly vertical. And I did consider making them slightly smaller there. You just saw me lining up my photo with one of them just to see if they were bigger than my photo or not, and they're actually about the same size. So I decided not to trim them down. And I've gone with keeping them straight, and I'm going to stick my photo straight as well. I just felt like it looked a bit nicer on the page. I think Alison's got hers all at an angle, and as much as I loved Alison's, I just felt like it wasn't working with these particular papers. I don't know why, I just couldn't make it work. So I've gone with a straight design, or I'm hoping they're straight. I didn't use my T-square ruler, whereas normally I would. So we're hoping they're straight, but they're as straight as I can get it from eyeballing them. And I've stuck a layer of craft foam behind my photo to bring in some dimension. If you follow my channel and subscribe, you'll know I like a lot of texture and dimension on my pages. So I use a lot of craft foam and foam pads and things to help lift things off the page and create a bit of height. So I've just got some foam behind my photo, and I've stuck the squares down flat, and then that will hopefully enable me, I can't speak, to bring in some dimension with my embellishing. So we've got that pattern paper there. I've used one side for one of the squares, and on the other side it's full of loads and loads of these little kind of labels or tags, I'm not sure what you'd call them, that have got nice sentiments written on them. So I've picked out 3 of those in shades of blue and green, and I'm just trimming them, leaving a border, and I'm just going to distress the longer 2 edges of them so that I can use these as embellishments. Now, I didn't buy all of the papers from this collection, I don't think. I think there was a few I didn't get. So I'm just going through trying to see if there's any other elements in here that I can fussy cut to use as embellishments. So I've got this paper here, it's like 2x2 elements, it's probably called, or something similar. I was looking for things that were the right colour scheme, but that also would work on this layout. So, like, for example, Let's Party wasn't going to work. We're not at a party. We're in the woods walking amongst the bluebells. So I wanted things that would kind of fit, but also in the right colour scheme. So I found this one at the top with a rainbow that said Smile, and I quite like that. And I wanted a second one to place down the bottom to help kind of balance the page out, but I really couldn't find one where the sentiment was right or the image was right and the colours were right, so I've had to just go with the one. So I'm going to pop it up the top there as an extra square, and then this is the ephemera pack I'm just going through. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering why I even bought this collection. As lovely as it is, I just think there's so much in here I'm not going to use. And I don't know why I bought it. But I did, so we're going to try and make it work. But some of these bits of ephemera I just don't think will ever make it onto a layout. But we shall see, you never know. I pulled out a couple of the florals, floral clusters. I'm going to use those. I think that's all I pulled out from the pack in the end. I've also got the sticker sheet, so I'm just having a look through this, trying to see what I can use. And like I said, this is where I've got to the stage where I'm struggling to embellish my layout, because nothing in this collection really works with the theme or the photo I've chosen, which is why I end up going to my the Avenue stash as well and using a few bits from that. But for now I'm going to persevere. I've stuck that small square that says Smile with some foam behind it, just some adhesive foam tape. And then I'm going to get these floral clusters stuck down, and they're raised up on foam pads. I'm just going to spread a few of those across my layout. I'm going to add some craft foam behind these word labels just to bring in that dimension over onto that section, because like I said, that square's been stuck down flat, so I need a bit of dimension over there as well. So that works really well, and I've kind of offset them so that they're not perfectly lined up. And again, more foam pads behind that larger floral cluster as well. I've decided I want to get my title down before I add much more, so that I know that there's space for it and it fits. So I bought the navy alphas that go with the Reaching Out collection, and I'm keeping my title simple. I'm just going to have Woodland Walk, and I'm going to line that up on the bottom square there, that blue kind of polka dot looking one. So now my title's in place, I'm just going to look for some small things to embellish with. I don't want to go too mad, which is just as well because I'm struggling, but I find this little cluster with 3 bees on, and they were perfect because we were walking through the woods looking at all the bluebells that are out at the moment, and obviously bumblebees love bluebells, and my little boy is petrified of bumblebees, so every time he saw one, "Mummy, bumblebee!" and hiding behind me, and there was a lot on this day, so I thought these bumblebees worked really well. But because they were a cluster of 3, I want to separate them, so I'm just having to trim around them and then position them on my layout. So I've stuck my bees down with foam pads, and I've kind of positioned them in a triangle around my photo, And then this is where I go to the Avenue box and see what I can pull out and make work from that collection. I'm just going to have a quick tidy up so I don't get things muddled up between the two collections. This is the sticker sheet from the Avenue, and I find a cute little squirrel, and he works really well because obviously there were squirrels in the wood, but he's also a similar colour to the pattern paper I've used as a layer behind my photo, so it brings more of that colour in. So I've added him to the cluster at the top, and I've also added an acorn above my photo, and then there's a few trees on this sticker sheet as well. So I'm going to place 2 of them on that kind of centre square, and then this little triangle tree is going to go down the bottom with my title, and again using the foam pads to raise those up and just bring in a bit more dimension.